Hey, hi, and welcome to my channel. My name is Chastity. Here we talk about beauty, entertainment, celebrities, books, movies, animes, TV shows, kind of anything else that garners my attention this week. And today we're going to talk about Lizzo. Now this video might be a little bit different than my normal videos because it's going to be a lot more ranty, less facts, more strongly worded opinions, just because I am tired. Do you hear me? Tired of the Lizzo think pieces with no thoughts. So on Friday, Lizzo makes her long-awaited return with her new single, Rumors, featuring Cardi B. Please stream Rumors. Personally, I find Rumors to be a very cute song. I absolutely love the video. I love the fact that it's very Hercules inspired. Hopefully, Lizzo can use this as in her little casting reel to be amused if Disney ever makes a live action Hercules. And with this new single brings the return of Lizzo to Twitter. If you were unaware, Lizzo had left Twitter because she was being attacked for any and everything she did. Whether she actually did something or she didn't. It really didn't matter. And if she did do something, people would dogpile a crazy amount on her. And it got to a point where Lizzo was trending for existing, and so she, took her leave of Twitter. But even after Lizzo had left Twitter, she would still trend for absolutely no reason, just for living her life. Like I said, Lizzo had released her new single on Friday, and like clockwork, the think pieces with no thought started. I'm going to get into that a little bit later. It got to the point where Lizzo was making tweets and TikToks and was even on Instagram Live where she cried. And listen, I am sick and tired of y'all making Black women cry. This is an actual problem that y'all seem to have no issue with, consistently pushing Black women until they are on tears on social media. Y'all are fucking sick. Treatment of Lizzo can be broken down into two things. One being fat phobia. There is a camp of you who genuinely believe fat people should hate themselves and hate their lives. So seeing Lizzo be so happy, be so jovial, and just exist and exude confidence and feel like she is beautiful, and it bugs y'all. It bugs y'all to y'all core. And I really wish, instead of getting on Twitter making think pieces with no thoughts, you would really speak to a professional about this anger. Because these feelings, these emotions you have about seeing another person just exist is a problem. And the other thing that Lizzo is going through is this phenomenon I've noticed that only really happens with female artists, and it happens in 4 stages. Stage 1 is when the artist is still relatively small but does have a decent sized fan base, and they have a song or project that is bubbling on the charts or is getting recognized and noticed by other people. It hasn't hit number 1 yet, but it is doing fairly well, and people are starting to take notice of this person that seemingly came out of nowhere. At this stage, the artist is very much so loved, and you have people rooting for them, people excited for the day that they will one day make it big and they will be household names. Right now, this artist is the underdog, and people just want to see them win. Next is stage 2. In stage 2, this is when the artist gets a whole bunch of attention, usually following that single that I mentioned in stage 1 actually hitting number 1 after everyone has been talking about them, making TikToks about them, and really bigging up this song and this artist. Stage 2 is the stage where we start seeing a little bit of negativity surrounding this artist because they're getting so big. This is usually where you get the "Am I the only one?" tweets. Am I the only one that thinks they're overrated? Am I the only one that thinks they really can't sing that well? Am I the only one that thinks they really can't rap that well? That is when these tweets start. Because during stage 1, there is nothing but an outpour of positive tweets and opinions about the artist because they're still relatively small. People love you when you're small, but when you start getting too big, that is when the negativity and the hate starts. Now we're on to stage 3, the worst stage and probably the longest stage that an artist will go through. This stage is filled with hate and think pieces with no thoughts. It doesn't matter what you're doing. People are going to have a negative opinion. It don't matter. If an artist at this time actually does make a mistake and actually does fuck up, the hate is dogpiled. All right, where like normally it would warrant a couple hundred tweets to be like, yo, you fucked up. Now that they're in stage 3, there are now hundreds of thousands of tweets, hundreds of thousands of people attacking them and talking about how much they've always hated them, and it's just unnecessary. Stage 3 is also when the industry plant conversation happens. It can sometimes happen in stage 2, sometimes even stage 1, but it's most notable in stage 3. That's when everyone has the opinion that you are an industry plant, which at this point, are you really a poppin' artist unless somebody thinks you're an industry plant? But the phrase industry plant is something that like Twitter learned about like maybe like 2020, and they have been misusing it ever since, because everybody cannot be an industry plant. Because I'm seeing people call artists who've been making music since like the early mid 2010s industry plants, and I'm just like, that's not how this works. You can't have people who clearly have been working and grinding for years be an industry plant. An industry plant is an artist or a group of artists that just kind of appear out of nowhere and then they're getting pushed everywhere. Y'all are calling people who've been in the music industry for years, doing EPs and projects and have been working their asses off, and you're calling those people industry plants. Stop using words and phrases y'all do not actually know the definition for. Stage 4 is when the angry mob has moved on to new target or new targets, and you are no longer the topic of conversation on social media, and now you are allowed to be liked again. It's now okay to be a fan of yours now because the mob has switched directions. A great example of an artist in stage 4 is Ariana Grande. Ariana Grande had a crazy hate train. She went from being very loved and very well liked to being blamed for Mac Miller's death, for being blamed for the bombing at her concert, and had a very tough year and a half, maybe even like 2-3 years of no matter what she did, getting mercilessly attacked. But as you can see, now everyone has moved on from hating on Ariana Grande. There are no more think pieces about her. There are not any tweets, discrediting her talent. That they've all moved on to hating new girls. Now let's get back to Lizzo. So like, Lizzo had left Twitter, right? And even with being gone, she would trend at least once every 2 to 3 months. It didn't matter what the fuck Lizzo did. People had thoughts and opinions. I saw people talking about the fact that Lizzo was promoting obesity, even though on social media, Lizzo was on her other social medias, because again, she was off of Twitter. She was working out, she was eating healthy, but somehow she was promoting obesity. Then you have the people who are fake concerned with Lizzo's health. The reason why I'm saying fake concerned, because they only seemingly have something to say when it's the health of fat people, but have nothing to say about the disgusting eating habits of skinny people. Because there is not enough think pieces for the way that Sweetie eats. Sweetie will eat ramen noodles covered in hot Cheeto dust with like a sprinkle of pickle juice, and nobody seems to be concerned for her health. Not a soul is concerned for her arteries. Is her heart okay? I don't think it is. I truly don't. To the point where like Sweetie has been able to make like a McDonald's meal, and I promise you, if that was Lizzo, niggas would lose their fucking mind. But because Sweetie is skinny, people assume she's healthy, which is just a dumb thing to think. Skinny should not be the benchmark for healthy. There are plenty of skinny people with clogged arteries, plenty of skinny people with heart disease, there are plenty of skinny people having heart attacks before 30. Like, I promise you, just because someone is skinny does not mean they're healthy. And for some reason, y'all don't seem to get that through your head. That health is more than what you see. It's what's happening in here. And there are a lot of skinny people that ain't making it to 40. Listen, that's just the fact. Just because someone is fat does not mean their body is falling apart and they're going to have a heart attack. That's not always the case. Everyone's body is different. Everyone's body holds weight differently. Everyone's metabolism is different. I really wish I would understand that and stop conflating skinniness with health, because I promise you that is not always the case. Because if you met a grown woman, like a fully grown woman in her 30s that weighed 75 pounds, would that not, with your logic, make her the peak of health because she's so skinny? No, that is extremely unhealthy and you'd be concerned because skinny don't mean healthy. Another conversation surrounding Lizzo is that she makes music for white people, even though she has a whole EP called Coconut Oil. She's still pandering to a white audience. In my opinion, Lizzo is probably one of the best fusion artists. She fuses genres very well. She does pop, she does hip hop, she does R&B, she does soul, she does funk, she does a little bit of rock. I don't really think Lizzo is bound to any genre. And I feel like people, this idea of being genreless when it comes to music is usually attributed to white artists and white musicians, and people don't really classify black artists in that way. Black artists either make R&B or they make hip hop. So I think maybe that's why some of y'all are stupid when it comes to Lizzo, because in your brains, black people are like slotted into two genres, and especially when black girls make pop music, y'all get upset when black girls don't want to make R&B music because you believe that's the only type of music black girls should make. And watching Lizzo bend genres and dip in and out really gets to y'all for some reason. Again, I don't know what it's like to just be full of hate like this. So I can't really explain what y'all are going through, except that y'all need to go see a therapist. I've also noticed that the same people who are saying that Lizzo makes white music have also very openly said they don't like her music. And I think that's where y'all are getting lost. Is because you don't like it, it's for white people. Because you can't sit here and explain to me, after hearing songs like Good as Hell and her having an EP called Coconut Oil, that she makes white people music. She makes very like funk and soul inspired music. There's a little bit of gospel in there. I don't understand how you can hear the music that Lizzo makes, that in my opinion is very unapologetically black, just mixed in with some pop, that is for white people. Now, with the rise of Lizzo's success, has she garnered a lot of white fans? Yes. That's what happens when you're mainstream. You get white fans. But I do not believe that Lizzo makes music for white people. I don't believe that Lizzo panders to a white audience because, again, her music is very black. And I think people are not understanding that you can't always help who gravitates to your music, to your show, to anything that you create. Sometimes you will have an intended audience and another group of people will actually end up liking it. I think a great example of this that like I can use personally is one of my favorite shows on Netflix is Camp Cretaceous, which is a Jurassic Park show made for kids, right? It says Y7, it's made for children, but if you go on social media, that show has a huge following of adult fans. We are not the intended audience, but we just gravitated to the show because the show was really good, right? Like, the show is made for children, but a lot of adults ended up really enjoying the show. The same can be said for like another show I like, A Centaur World. Definitely made for kids, but I really enjoy it. Another conversation surrounding Lizzo that I'm really not going to give too much energy to because it's so stupid is that she is a mammy. Again, y'all using words and phrases that you don't know the definition of. If you don't know what mammy is, I have an entire video on the mammy archetype if you'd like to watch that. I'll have the link in my description box below. But yes, Lizzo, the woman who is very open about her sexuality and very free and very into her womanness and very into her sex appeal, is a mammy. And that's where I'm gonna leave that conversation because it is so dumb. It is so stupid. It's not worth me sitting here adding another 10 minutes to this video. It's dumb. Because you can't actually explain to me and how within the mammy archetype Lizzo fits in there. Outside of her being fat and black. Outside of that, there's nothing. You have desexualized her, not her. Lizzo is a very sexual person. So yeah, that's pretty much it for my video. The Lizzo think pieces stop here, okay? I'm tired of seeing her trend for everything but her talent. Stop talking about her. Stop thinking about her. All y'all doing is showing us that you're fat phobic while trying to like hide it behind something else, okay? Let's just move past it, stream rumors, and leave Lizzo the fuck alone. A YouTuber I like named Abby does this thing at the end of her videos where she does like songs of the day. So I'm going to steal that from Abby and we're gonna start doing that around here. So for today, the song of the day is You Got Next by Mindy. So yeah, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye guys.